Let's go! What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Daily Dose with Dylan Davis, and I am here brought to you by the Painted Lines Network and DSM Media, live on DSM Media's Twitch and TPL's YouTube and Twitter, so give them a follow at the Painted Lines on Twitter and at the Painted Lines on YouTube. Today I am with my guys Gint and George. Give them a follow at Matt_McGinty and at _George Ryder, and today is all about the team in the red, white, and blue who took a commanding 2-0 series lead against the Washington Wizards last night. And that's all we're going to get into today. And all I got to say, guys, it's a bad day to be a Ben hater. It's a quiet afternoon for the 2-5 haters out there. Because in my mind, you know, you can say whatever you want about game one. He's been the best player of the series so far. And that's where I'll throw it to you guys to start. Ben Simmons has undoubtedly been the best player of this short two-game series so far.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree to an extent. Last night was pure utter dominance during his play, obviously. He was getting to the rack at will. He was destroying the rim. He had a couple dunks. I thought the backboard was going to come down. But, yeah, I mean, dude, him and Tobias have been lights out so far.
Yeah.
Obviously, we'll get into him as well. But I really thought what was coming today was – well, now that he scored, Bradley Beal had 30-some points. But I think the haters aren't as – even that girl from Barstool today put up something about how dominant he was. So
I don't want to hear it. We've been saying, Gim, what have we been saying? We got the receipts, bro. Yeah, this isn't – and I'm not saying this as like, you trash Ben Simmons, so you can't like Ben Simmons like now, or you're not a Sixers fan now. But I'm saying we got receipts. So like people like that aren't Sixers fans that want to throw him in the mud every down performance or even good performances that they don't view as good performances. And now because he scored 20, why do people view that as like the gold standard? Like, oh, Ben scored 22, so he had a really good game. But the 15 and 15 and wasn't a good game because he only had 6 points. It's like the points per game is what people just view, as the gold standard for Ben Simmons' success, and it really bothers me. And he read your tweets, people. That's all I got to say. Like, he was on Twitter, he was active on Twitter, and he said, okay, that's fine. He heard the media asking his teammates questions. Okay, that's fine. Doc called him a gem. Doc called him special, and there are people trolling Doc on Twitter. Special, you only had 6 points. Okay, that's fine. Well, I'm going to drop 22 on your head, and I'm going to shatter the rim like Gint just said. And the play that stuck out to me, dude, was – and George and I watched the game together last night, so we were going nuts when this happened. When Russ had that, like, putback slam, he let out a yell and a flex. And Ben just takes the ball, gets down the entire floor in about 0.2 seconds, and just throws one down even harder and lets out. Poor Ish Smith, dude, just got in the way, and he mean-mugged Ish Smith, but just by accident because he was right there. But Ben Simmons was by far the most dominant player of the game, and he set the tone from opening tip, dude. He established himself in the paint low. He called for the ball. He had that one fading runner. Yeah. I don't use jumper, whatever you want to call it.
I'm not going to name names, but I saw a tweet, and it said, "Y'all are impressed by that shot by Simmons? That's a floater, LOL."
Not a floater.
It's like, dude, man, and that was, I mean, he only had like 6 points at that time, but I'm sure after that he changed his mind on Ben's whole night. But I just had to throw that one out there.
Yeah, and I think like this is like a great comment. Between the two games, Ben's averaged his league average since getting in the league, and people will just view it as the 22-point game was huge. I know Gint was really hoping he got to play in the fourth quarter for that 22-point triple-double.
Dude, that was a bad beat. I only took a double-double. He needed 1 rebound or 2 assists. That was – I took the Sixers -8 for a lot of money, so it worked out.
So the Sixers won big last night. George, what was one of your main takeaways, Ben Simmons or not, or outside?
Yeah, I mean, Ben Simmons just from the jump, he came out aggressive. I mean, he bodied Westbrook off the bat, took him right to the rim. It was just a beautiful game from Ben, especially because he got so much shit for going 0 for 6 from the line, 6 points. It doesn't matter about the 15 and 15. Like, everyone wanted to point at the points, so him coming out, he had a fire under his ass, and you could see it. Like, he wanted to score. He wanted to score off the bat and fast. So him dropping 22, if we weren't blowing him out, he has an easy triple-double. Sorry, Gint. But, like, yeah, from the jump, Ben Simmons just knew this was going to be his game. And everyone that, like, talked about game one, like, it just seems like he heard everyone's voice. And he wanted to go out there and prove that this is still I'm one of the big parts of this team, too. Come on, like, get out of here.
Well, Washington,
beautiful too.
Washington just has nothing to throw at him. There's not a player on that roster that, like, size-wise, strength-wise, anything can match up with Ben. If you guys like their big men have to go at Joel, right? Their centers have to be at Joel. Who's their power forward to start? Rui?
Yeah.
Like, and he's on Toby. Like, who are you throwing at him to start? Westbrook, Beal, Neto, too small, bro. Ish Smith off the bench, too small.
I think they would love the idea of trying to throw Westbrook on him, and Ben literally debunked that idea the first possession of the game. I would love to, like, obviously there's probably a stat out there. I haven't looked at it, but Ben has to be, like, one of the highest scorers in the first 2 minutes of a game in the entire NBA. I feel like he has at least 4 to 6 points every single game in the first 2 minutes.
But that's what I loved about last night's performance, because we've seen that a lot. We've seen 8 to 10 point first quarter performances out of Ben before, and then he doesn't score another bucket or even look to get another bucket until late in the third quarter or in the fourth quarter. Those are the performances that I can't stand more than anything out of 2-5. He didn't do that last night. He was, okay, I'm going to give you 10 this quarter. I'm going to give you 6 this quarter. I'm going to give you 6 this quarter. I'm still going to facilitate. I'm still going to do this and that. And then I don't got to play in the fourth quarter because we're dominating this team. And why are they dominating this team, guys? And this takes me to my other takeaway. Bradley Beal was really good offensively last night. I know he wasn't good from 3. He was like 1 of 6 from 3 or whatever, but he was really good. He had 33. But this series is playing out just how I think myself and you two and everyone in this city and even maybe nationally envisioned it playing out from a Sixers point of view of, okay, Bradley Beal can get his 30 to 40. Hell, he could drop 50 if he wants to. Who else is going to step up?
Not Bertans.
Nobody. And the answer is quite clearly nobody. And even, the guy that, you want to point the finger to. And don't get me wrong, I think he's greatly underappreciated. He's greatly underrated, and people get on him too much, that being Russell Westbrook. He was special at the last 20 games or so this regular season, and he's the biggest reason they made the playoffs. He has been awful in the first 2 games of this series. Awful, dude.
One of my things that I used to love that he does, he had that little bank shot from 15 feet. Dude, he hasn't even come close on one of those.
No.
He tries.
What was he last night? 2 of 10 from the field?
Yeah, but also to your point, like, playing out exactly how he thought. Bro, Washington shot what? Weren't they under 10% from 3 last night or something?
They were like 9.7%.
9%.
Dude, like,
ridiculous.
Talk about just suffocating perimeter defense. I understand Bradley Beal had 33 points. Like, congratulations. They put him in the pick and roll a lot last night. He was getting downhill, so he was getting a lot of good buckets, and they were hard fought buckets too. It's not like he was, but dude, 9% from 3. You want to talk about absolute shackles and straps there?
Well, Doc sent it at them for a split second, and I think I said it to you last night, George. Like, why wouldn't you throw zone looks at this team, especially when they're all from 3 early, dude? Because they're trying to get to the paint. Where does Russ live? Like you said, again, Bradley Beal was living in the paint and using the pick and roll and getting downhill early, right? Like, this team, who's going to kill you from beyond the arc? Russ doesn't look to shoot him, right? Neto can't shoot him. Achimura, I know he's made a couple this series, but he's like a 33% shooter all year long. He can't shoot him. Their big men can't shoot him. Who's besides Bertans off the bench, who right here 0-0-0-0-0 fouls.
Yeah, 2
was
rebounds.
Irrelevant last year. I don't think he had anything last night.
Really?
I don't think he had anything. I could be mistaken, but
Bertans.
I think it's
6 fouls.
Yeah.
6 fouls and not another stat.
Yeah, and so why wouldn't you throw different zone looks at this team and make them try to beat you from the perimeter, funnel things into the big fella in the middle of the paint, and that's kind of what's happening, guys, and that's why the series didn't scare me. They're just not a good team. It's your typical 8-versus-1, but I mean, hell, you're seeing John Morant and the Grizzlies give the Jazz a hell of a run out west, and this is just. It is what it is. That's why I just want the series to get over with now. Look, I'm on to the next one.
Yeah, I do agree. Obviously, you still have to take care of some business. You don't want to slip up in game 3 and then 4 becomes a little bit more important. But you guys want to dive into some negatives?
Oh yeah, I want to get to this comment right now. Oh yeah. Well, by the way, real quick sidebar: the Sixers can't have my mindset. Obviously, you're 100% right.
Oh yeah,
my mindset is I'm over this series. Like the series,
Sixers honestly might have that mindset though. Last night. So, I mean, obviously, we're going to get into negatives, but they had that little spurt where I think at one point it was like 15 and it kind of got cut down to like 8 when our bench was in.
Because he had the entire bench unit in. But that goes to the point. I think he thinks he can get away with that against the Washington Wizards.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lie. In the second half, the full bench unit played very well, mostly because of a guy that was named earlier in the comments in Mr. Matisse Thybulle, who put up a legendary stat line last night. He's like the 8th player in NBA history, I think I saw earlier, to have, 5 blocks and 4 steals, or was it reversed?
In 20 minutes, yeah.
In 19 minutes. 5 blocks, 4 steals in 19 minutes, dude. It's ridiculous. But right here, if there's any negative to be taken away, and I want to get this out of the way now, how do you feel about Shake this series so far? I'm done. Read my lips. I'm done. Dunzo. Finished. Done. I don't want to see. I'm done. I don't need to see any more Shake Milton in this playoff series. If you asked me this question a month ago, I would have called you crazy thinking that Tyrese Maxey could get serious minutes, meaningful minutes in a postseason series. It is Maxey. Yeah, right here. You better add about 19 greater than signs in that comment. Maxey greater than Shake at this point. And you know what? I think I'm not gonna lie to you. It's not Shake as a player. I think he's in his head, to be honest with you. You can see it. And I don't think there's any bouncing back from it this postseason with Shake Milton. I'm done with it this postseason, dude. 0 for 6 last night.
Yeah,
me and George were saying, this is my other takeaway from this bad Washington team last night, Gint. Does anyone realize how efficient the Sixers were from the field last night?
The starters were like 2 for 59 or something, weren't
they?
Here
you go. Joel Embiid, 8 of 12. Toby, 9 of 13. Seth, 4 of 7. Ben, 11 of 15. Danny Green, 2 of 3. Hill was 2 of 5. Thybulle, 2 of 5. Korkmaz, 4 of 6. Maxey, 4 of 7. Paul Reed, 2 of 2. Dwight was 1 of 4, but that's kind of what you expect out of Dwight. Shake Milton, 0 for 6. He can't even finish around the rim right now. He can't finish around the rim.
Dude, how about when it was like when there was bench minutes and he was like on the baseline, he like fell over.
And then
fell on the line, dude.
I'm done. George, if you want to go first and then Gint on this one, I'm over it. I'm done.
No, it's over. I mean, especially last night, like we talked about it with Egan, and we were like, is he going to play himself out of it? And he said, I don't think he's going to do it this game. Well, 0 for 6 from the field in 14 minutes, while Maxey's 14 minutes is dropping 10, 2, and 2 and giving you effective playoff minutes. Like at this point, it's Maxey or bust. Like if you're not picking Maxey over Shake for the rotation, I don't know what you're doing.
I don't know what basketball you're watching at the moment.
Maxey's giving you everything you could want that you want Shake to give you, and Shake's giving you absolutely nothing. Like Shake's been so rough to watch.
No, and Maxey has been like a spark to this second unit
and
the
fans erupt every time he steps on the court. It's like it's great energy, and he's doing it. He
answers the bell. Like I said it yesterday to you guys. He's what 18, 19 years old, however old Tyrese Maxey is.
Shake's 24.
And he's more calm, cool, and collected than a 24-year-old at this point who has playoff experience.
Yeah, he came out there last night and shot 4 for 7.
You've been all over this. I mean, me and you have had many conversations about Shake Milton this season and him getting passes with the fan base. That pass is gone, my friend. Because I don't see anyone that's saying Shake over Maxey at this point. You can hear it in the crowd. I heard boos rain down when Shake turned the ball over, or that play when he fell out of bounds last night. I think that the love fest there is gone right now.
But my question is just, so we went into the bubble last year and they anointed Shake as this savior that was going to come into the starting lineup, play in the pick and roll, play well. Didn't happen. He went into the Boston series, was completely shell-shocked, was getting pressured up and down the court, and he couldn't handle it. So we fast forward an off season. We're like, he hadn't really played much. We anoint him the sixth man of the year. He has a roller coaster year, to say the least, where he's really good in some games, really bad some games. And we said, all right, we'll see what he can do in the playoffs. I know we're only 2 games in, but he hasn't looked good again. And I'm not going to jump to conclusions and say Shake can't play in the NBA, because I think he can, and I think he will. But you're right. He can't play. He can't play. It's plain and simple. He's not giving you anything. And we talk about a 9-man rotation, or we talk about 8, 9 guys. So your 3 guys off the bench right now are clearly George Hill. He's been awesome. Dwight Howard's going to play in the beat, and Matisse Thybulle is going to play after, especially what he's doing in the defensive end. So you're talking about a 9th guy as being like a stretch, and I think right now Maxey deserves that. He's playing with crazy energy. He's getting up and down the court. The tempo doesn't change when Ben comes off the court, which is something that has been a problem in the past. But with Tyrese, everyone's still flying up and down the court.
And the thing with Shake is you can get away with that against the Washington Wizards right now. You throw him out there late in the later rounds and he performs this way, that's consequential. Like there could be consequences from those 14, 13, 15 minutes that he's playing, because he's been such a damn negative. Last night he had a plus-minus of 0, I believe, which, by the way, let's throw this out there, right? That doesn't sound terrible. That
was the worst on the team, wasn't it?
It doesn't seem terrible to the blind eye, right? They beat the Wizards by 25 points. So how bad did he have to be in those 13 or 14 minutes to be a 0? You're right. I think it was a team worse, and he was a team worse in game 1. And he looks raw, dude. And yeah, the negatives were a scare. I mean, it was a rough night to be a right ankle last night. Yeah, Seth, I'm pretty sure they're both okay. They both came back in Toby and Seth. Seth obviously scared me, but when Toby limped off, I was like, no, oh my god, this isn't like this isn't happening, right? Not against the Wizards, like not in round 1 in game 2 against the Wizards, because of Robin Lopez's man feet just catching up and taking out Toby's ankle, and then Seth gets helped off.
There's an issue with Shake that I still think he'll get another chance, to say the least, is the games he's good, he can like steal you a playoff game. And I mean, we don't need to steal a playoff game against Washington Wizards. So I think Doc's going to be okay with feeling him out more in these next 2 games. So maybe you can start. Remember, we mentioned a roller coaster. He's on a steep decline right now. It's like King of the Cod, 6 Flags, dude. Like, he's going straight down. But I'm hoping maybe you can catch a little bit of fire, because, like I said, the game. Remember that stretch in the regular season he went, like, he had like 28, 26, 23. It was like it was like a 4 or 5 game span where he was really good. So in these next couple of rounds, he might be able to steal you a playoff game. But right now, he's the farthest thing from that. So hopefully he can figure it out quick.
And I think this is what you've seen Doc do so far. I really do. And I think it's all been okay. Shake's going to get the first nod. If Shake performs well, Shake gets a run. Shake hasn't performed well, Maxey's playing in the second half. And that's been the story of the first 2 games, and Maxey's performed well in both of the second half. So my question, like the thing I'm going to be looking for, is when does that switch? When does, you know what, Maxey, you deserve this right now. You're playing better.
It'll be next game, right? Like I said, I still think Shake's going to get a chance in terms of playing, but he deserves it. Like, we were texting last night during the game. I was like, dude, this kid's incredible. Like, he's just getting up and down. He's causing havoc on defense. Like, I don't know.
Not your boy. Certainly not your boy.
Hold on a second. If Curry's hurt, like, say he misses a game, like, are you going to start Korkmaz?
Probably
going to start Korkmaz.
Probably. That's fine.
Really?
Probably.
I guess. Or no, they'll probably start George Hill.
Oh, okay.
Maybe.
I think.
Sixers info. I love it, Abe. What's going on? And, here's what I love, Nadir. He had a good game last night. Shot well.
Yeah, no, he played well.
Yeah, hold on. We didn't hear from Nadir yesterday, did we?
No.
No. Or Monday. We didn't hear from him after game 1 when he was awful and played about 9 minutes. Now that he hit a couple threes, he wants his shooter off the bench. Mind you, early in the game when it was a 4 or 5 point game, Cork didn't hit anything. Then when they were up 18-20, shots start falling. I'm just gonna leave that there. I think his confidence is gone already, man. I think that's the issue. I don't think it's anything physical with him. It's mental, and I think you see it, and that's what worries me. And yeah, I'm saying I'm done because he's just frustrating the hell out of me to watch right now. But I wouldn't do it yet. But in the same token, I think Maxey deserves it right now. I don't know how. I don't know.
Let me ask you this though: if they do go the route of playing 9 guys in the playoffs, and Maxey is that 9th guy, and Shake is completely out of the rotation, I don't know what his contract looks like. I don't know how long he's here, but like you have to think he would be utterly disappointed with the team, the coaching staff, which he forced their own hand. I mean, he's the one that's playing bad, but you're plugging in what, a 20-year-old to his role essentially that all season was his. So
if he was if he was keeping up, if he wasn't shooting over 6 from the field, like it wouldn't be a problem. And
what was that?
That's my answer to him. Aww.
Yeah, he's kind of playing himself.
Maybe play better, bro.
Yeah, he's playing himself out of it. Like it's not like
0 for 6 in 14 minutes.
Oh, it's terrible.
I think I'd rather see Ferg.
Like, not to mention, he's a 24-year-old second-round pick project. Okay, this isn't. If the roles were reversed, right? If this was Maxey's role, if this was Maxey's job to start the year as the first-round pick out of Kentucky with all this hype surrounding him, and then he didn't play well, and the 24-year-old second-round pick started to play well, and you did that early, and you flipped that around, yeah, then Maxey after the season, could have issues. If you think I'm going to lose sleep over the 24-year-old second-round project that's struggling right now,
his contract is so good, though, now that Justin just put that in there.
It's great, and he's not going anywhere anyway. He probably knows he needs to play better. He's been freaking awful.
Yeah.
But I'm just happy that the pass isn't there anymore. He doesn't get that pass. Like, Shake, every time he had a bad game in the regular season, it was, he'll be fine. Shake will turn it around. We've seen Shake turn around. Well, I'm still waiting.
Yo, something I wanted to bring up, and it just came out of nowhere. I don't know why I thought it. What happened when Davis Bertans tried to tackle Dwight Howard, and Dwight Howard got teed up for it?
Dude, I'm done trying to understand.
I thought I missed something. And I watched it back.
It's because Dwight threw like a little after Bertans like pulled him down. He like hit him in the arm. He like jabbed him in the arm, and they gave him a T for that.
Yeah,
they're out for Dwight, man. They are.
Oh, it's bad, bro. And it's so piss poor, dude. And even I don't know what the free throws ended up at the end of the game. Yeah, he threw his arms because Bertans literally took him down with 2 arms. Not took him down, but wasn't it? I'll tell you this.
It was a soft tee.
I'll tell you this. Don't they normally give that a flagrant? Not that it should. I'm not saying it should have been a flagrant because it wasn't anything rough. But what do they call it? Is it a basketball move? Is it a basketball play? That wasn't a basketball play. Yeah. It wasn't hard. Dwight didn't fall. It wasn't anything like crazy. But like then Dwight gets the T and it's just a shooting foul on Bertans. Like it annoys me. Yeah, 20. Oh my God, I didn't know he played 26 minutes.
Yeah, it was
Jesus. Dude. But that's all it is, dude. They're just not that good. And I think what goes into that is one of my other takeaways. You got good old fashioned load management in a playoff game.
I wish we did. Dude, he needed 1 rebound. Like that was just 1 rebound.
Oh, for your double. That's right. Yeah. But you got no starter played over 30 minutes. They didn't play the entire fourth quarter. I think Ben led the starters with 28 minutes. So no starter played more than 28 minutes. I think it's huge, dude. I really do, especially with the fact that this series could be over in 4 or 5. As of right now, I'm saying 4 simply because I don't see how the Wizards pull a game out of their ass at this point unless the Sixers just can't shoot in game 3 or 4 on the road and they shoot 9.3% from 3. That's how you'll beat the Sixers. I don't see it happening. I'm interested to see what happens with Russell Westbrook. And we can get into that now if you guys want to, because I don't really have any other takeaways. The Sixers were very good last night. It was a full 48-minute performance, in my opinion, with aside from those 3, that 4-minute bench run where they gave up a big run to blow the lead in the second quarter. But outside of that, it was a full 48-minute performance. The starters didn't have to play in the fourth quarter. They won by 25. This series is over. It's been over. It never started. I don't know which term you want to use, but the Sixers, will definitely be advancing to the second round. I can tell you guys that. But the fan, we can get to that. You asshole. Like I don't know any other name to call you. You're just an ass, dude. Like what did that get you by dumping popcorn on Russell Westbrook as he walked back down the tunnel after an injury? Like what did that get you? Like did you think like people like like when people run on the field at Phillies games, and even though it's stupid and it stops the game and they're going to get arrested or whatever, the crowd cheers for whatever reason. I don't know why. Like it's just funny, I guess. No one like was going to cheer that you dumped popcorn on Russell Westbrook. Your buddies weren't like going to like high five with you and be like, "Oh, that was dope, bro! I can't believe you did that. Like you just got banned from life. You lost your season tickets, you idiot." And now you give a bad name to the other 10,000 fans that were there, 10,999 fans that were there. You give a bad name to us. And instead of, the national media and everyone talking about the Sixers 25-point win and Ben Simmons last night taking a 2-0 series lead, we're talking about this one idiotic fan dumping popcorn on another team. And now we got to go travel to Washington, who isn't going to be too happy about that. So our players are going to hear it all game long, even though, I don't have I think the Wizards have about like 22 total fans. But yeah, this was worse. I mean, at least New York makes us look a little better. Thank you to New York City.
Yeah.
But
I mean, that was
all I gotta say. Like, dude, we just got allowed back in the building, and you got to go act like an ass.
I just don't get it. Like you said, there's no reason for it. There was no.
How you're banned for life. You lose
I
your
don't have words. I really don't have words. It sucks that, like you said, because that's taking up pretty much all the national media about the game. I didn't get to watch SportsCenter. I hardly ever do anymore, but I assume that it showed Ben dunk twice, immediately cut to that, immediately cut to Russell Westbrook's interview, and then that was all to talk about the game. I haven't heard anything about Russ's injury. Have you?
So, I don't know if I want to go down this road.
Why, is he not hurt?
No.
Oh.
But so, well, it's just coming to mind because we are on TikTok now at DSM Media, and I posted a LeBron clip, and it's going berserk right now, dude. Like people are arguing back and forth in the comments about injury, not injury, flop. But I'm talking about the Russ thing in general because he could have been hurt, and he looked hurt on the two plays. All I want to say is he hurt his ankle when he was down by 25 points. He walked to the tunnel limping. He gets popcorn dumped on him. His ankle didn't look too hurt when he was trying to get back into the stands fighting all 5 security guards.
That'd be Malice at the Palace.
Did you see what Charles Barkley said?
No.
How if you could change one NBA rule, it would be that you're allowed to go in the stands and kick one fan's ass per game.
Someone tweeted they should give that fan the choice of going to jail or going into a cage with Russell Westbrook for 25 minutes.
No, and it's true. And that's the part that pisses me off, right? Because it's something as that fan, if Russell Westbrook was walking down the street, would you have thrown popcorn on him? I'll tell you the answer. No.
Hope not.
No, you wouldn't have because you would have got your effing ass beat for it. Right? Yeah. It's something like they walk in the stadium and they know nothing's going to happen to them. They're just going to get kicked out. In this case, you're a season ticket holder who just lost your season tickets. So congrats, bud.
I think it sucks because Philadelphia fans are always have a bad rap. So like stuff like that, when that shit happens, like the media runs with it. And so do opposing fans. Like they always run with that stuff. We still hear about like Santa and all that. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. And you just set the clock. One fan just sent the clock back 100 years. And now this is all we're going to have to hear about. I will tell you the one part that did piss me off about it was the fact like how whoever it was that mentioned the dude spitting at Madison Square Garden was I was watching First Take earlier and like it was talking about fan behavior and that was an afterthought to the popcorn, which I don't get at all. I don't get that part at all. Like I don't know if it's Philly and they're New York people or whatever it is. Listen, the fan's wrong. I just called him an asshole. He's banned from Wells Fargo Center. You know, he wouldn't do it in person if Russell Westbrook was by himself and he was by himself. He's a punk. That's it. End of story. He's wrong. Popcorn being dumped on a player someone spitting on or at a player. Which one's higher up on the totem pole of do not do? And when I was watching the debate earlier on First Take, it was Sixers popcorn, and then it was like, oh, and I saw at Madison Square Garden someone tried to spit at Trae Young. Back to Sixers. I'm like, bro, what?
Yeah, I just think the worst part about it was the fact that Russ Westbrook was injured. I don't want to spend too much time on this anymore because we've said that it was wrong. It's not right. It's not right for either of them. But one thing I did want to touch on, because you brought up Trae Young, is, dude, we talk about how we want Milwaukee and Brooklyn to just beat the crap out of each other for 7 games. So
these two are just beating the piss out of each other.
They are. This is I talked yesterday before we left. I was like, man, like national media wise, these games tonight aren't very good. But dude, that series is going crazy. These dudes are about it. Whoever we get, I think we're going to play Atlanta, unless Trae Young's got a lot of shoes to fill with all the crap he's been talking. But they are going at it.
I'll tell you one thing. So this is non-Sixers related, like you just said. But did you guys watch the end of that game after the Sixers game was over?
Yeah.
DeAndre Hunter had a lot of open shots, man.
Yeah, but that's my issue with Trae Young there, right? And Trae Young, I think, dropped 30 or 30 plus last night, or right around that number. But they tied the game back up after the Knicks were up by 10 or 9 or so, whatever they were up by. They tie it back up with like 5 or 6 minutes left in the game. And I don't know how many possessions in a row down the stretch I watched Trae Young pass the ball to role players for shots. Now, yeah, DeAndre Hunter missed about 3 wide open threes. Bogdanovich missed an open 3. Kevin Huerter missed an open 3. I get, like, they make the shots as a different story. You're talking about what a great read by Trae Young. But when you're Trae Young, right, and you're trading buckets at the end of the game, and you have 30 and you're hot, why is the ball not leaving your hands towards the rim? I had an issue with that. Like, he just kept deferring. And I'm like, dude, shoot the ball. Like, your team needs you. Like, your team needs it right now. And no more DeAndre Hunter corner threes because they're not falling.
No, yeah. It's a really tough situation because they were blitzing every single pick and roll that he had. So he was getting doubled the whole time, essentially. And if those guys are making shots, the only thing you talk about is, oh, dude, Trae facilitating out of the pick and roll looked unbelievable last time. But I do agree with you, especially the way he's talking and what he's saying. Oh, you better win. But they stole home court, which is the job you have to do in a playoff series. But now that he's saying, all right, we'll see you back in Atlanta, like, you better go defend home court.
Yeah, man. And all I'll say is the most improved player is choking right now.
It's Derrick Rose's team. Like, Julius Randle was playing like terrible.
He's been awful the first 2 games.
Game 1 was.
So that's that. And I guess before we wrap up today's show, because again, guys, I wish I had more for you. All I have is excitement and emotion. I'm not sure how to share that with you guys after the Sixers win. Like, there's nothing I can really go into detail about. Ben Simmons was phenomenal. We talked about that already. Matisse Thybulle with the defense. Toby was Toby. Joel had 22, and they got the rest of the fourth quarter. Great. The Wizards stink. They stink. This is a sweep or a gentleman's sweep, if that. So we'll see. We'll just get me Saturday night at 7:00. But other than that, we can look around the NBA if you guys want to get into tonight's game or tonight's games a little bit and just look at these series. Start with the Bucks and the Heat here. It's 2-0 Milwaukee going back to Miami. Gint, I mean, I have you heard that Jimmy Butler works hard?
Jimmy Buckets? Or Jimmy something else?
I shouldn't say I loved having Jimmy here. I really do. I really did. But it's put up or shut up time for them tonight. This is like, if you lose this one, the bubble comments are all at that point relevant and everything comes in deep. So I'm really interested to see how that game goes tonight. They had a chance to really steal game 1, and they didn't win. So, like I said, tonight is going to be a very good one, I think, in Miami.
I think if they win, I think that Milwaukee does win tonight, and I think if they when they do, series over, bro. Like in us, maybe 5, maybe Miami steals game 4 and it goes back to Milwaukee for a 5th game. Series is over at that point. And honestly, I'll like it a lot because here's my thing: What do we keep talking about? In the second round, Brooklyn, Milwaukee beat the shit out of each other for 6 to 7 games. Well, that doesn't happen as easily if Miami and Milwaukee beat the shit out of each other this series. If Milwaukee can get out of this series in 4 to 5 games, that's huge for the second round matchup because Brooklyn's just cruising past the Boston Celtics. And I don't think Boston has a chance to steal one. I was questioning if they could get one at home at TD Garden. Yeah, they don't have enough firepower. But real quick, before we continue with this, no. And I was scared when if he didn't come back or he was out for a long time and then they threw him out there in the third quarter with his ankle taped up real big, I would have been worried. Bro, he came back in like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, they wouldn't have done that in the first half of Game 2 against Washington when we were leading if it was anything to worry about. The Seth injury worried me a little bit more, although did he come back in? I'm forgetting if he came back in or if they didn't have to go.
I don't think he did.
His worried me more because he had to be helped off, but he came back to the bench and seemed okay in uniform. So I think they're both okay, hopefully. But George, what are your thoughts on Milwaukee and Miami?
Dude, I mean, Jimmy freaking Butler. I think he's 8 for 32 with like 27 points this series. Like that's insane. And it looks like the Bucks are just gonna wrap it up. I mean, if they win tonight, it's over. But Game 2 was a blowout, and Game 1, like the Bucks shot 16% from 3 or something, and they still won the game. And then Game 2 is to blowout. Like, it's do or die time for the Heat. I think the Bucks take it tonight, but that's like going into the series. I expected to be at least tough, but it looks like the Bucks are just kind of cruising.
Well, to go back to Gint's point, I also feel like the cruising thing and this 2-0 series lead is clouded by Game 2 and the shooting performance that Milwaukee had. Because Game 1 did go down to the wire in overtime. It was a 2-point game. And then Game 2, and trust me, we've seen it because Milwaukee has done it to us in Milwaukee a couple times where they don't miss, dude. And they shoot like 73% from 3. And it gets very annoying. And that's what happened to Miami. I honestly felt bad for a second. Like, Bryn Forbes comes out and is 5 for 5 or 4 for 4 from 3 to start the game. And then it's just a trickle-down effect. Then Pat Connaughton comes in the game and buries 2 threes. And they're up by 42 in the first half. Like, they just kiss it goodbye. So we'll see how Miami responds. Obviously, if they can win tonight, okay, they got their ass beat one game. But they went to overtime one game. They won one game. And they got an ass whoop in one game.
It would have been
a series. If they lose tonight,
it would have been huge. Like, it would have been huge to take Game 1 because the Bucks shot terrible from 3. Like, I think they had made 5 threes that game or something. It was something terrible. So taking Game 1 would have been huge. Now you're just in a terrible rut. But
all right, Gint, let's get to the other series that has a game tonight because tell me all about how this series is over already.
Who plays?
Suns Lakers, bud.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's over.
You were worried yesterday.
Oh, no, I still think the Lakers are gonna wrap this up in maybe 5 games. Dude, the Chris Paul injury,
right? Well, that's what it all comes down to.
Kills Phoenix. Like, it kills Phoenix. Cameron Payne is good and he's applying a lot of pressure, but dude, Dennis Schroeder was literally killing him. I took LeBron over 30 the other night in Game 2. He had 10 points in the first quarter. Dude, Dennis Schroeder took 7 shots in the second quarter and made 6 of them. So I think the only way that the West was going to get the Lakers out was in the first round, and I thought the Suns would have a decent shot of taking them out, but you're just giving these guys time to play together.
Well,
that is their starting 5 because they only played like 6-7 games together in the regular season. Now, I don't think it's over, but they looked way different Game 2.
Well, it all comes down to that shoulder with CP3. But my rebuttal to you is, and I said this to you yesterday, you're right. Schroeder was phenomenal the other night, and he had like 24 on like, I forget what shooting, but it was very efficient, very over 50% shooting on 24 points. I don't think that's the Dennis Schroeder you're going to see for the rest of the series. I think Dennis Schroeder, his over-under points is always set around 13, 14 for a reason. Because I think he's about a 14 to 15 point scorer, 24, 25 points, while AD gets 30 plus and LeBron's over 20. Yeah, you're not going to beat that Lakers team. I don't think that's going to continue. And then the health of Chris Paul is crucial because
if he playing tonight, which is huge.
And he played the other game, but I think Reggie Miller, and I'm not a huge fan of the TNT broadcast, but I think Reggie Miller was pointing it out early and often in that game where Chris Paul wasn't shooting the mid-range when he was open in the pick and roll. I don't know, and he was saying because something's not right. Like he was normally he pulls up, 10 feet out, 12 feet out, and he knocks those down. He wasn't even attempting it. Or if he came up, he was shooting a floater with his opposite hand, with the left hand instead of the right because of that shoulder. So it all hinges on his health, in my opinion. The other big thing is, can Phoenix steal a game in Los Angeles now? Because now the Lakers took back home court. Can you go to LA and at least come back 2-2 and then see what happens from there? But yeah, man, I think that's probably the most exciting. Now let me ask you guys this, because it's bracket. It's not reseeding anymore.
Yeah,
where do the Lakers line up with after that?
Portland and Denver.
They're
gonna steamroll in the finals.
They're the best team in the West.
Bro, I thought the Clippers would be one of the teams that have a chance to beat them.
Clippers are the biggest frauds we've seen in so long. Like,
I don't get how. I just don't. I get it. Luka Doncic is unbelievable, but I think Memphis and Utah can't beat the winner of that series, which looks like it's going to be Dallas. And I think the Lakers are going to steamroll Dallas.
Yep.
Well, come on, Phoenix.
If they don't go back to Phoenix 2-2, if Chris Paul's banged up the entire series,
the Lakers are going to steamroll Denver.
It's over.
The Lakers have the best matchups in the West. And oh my
so
God.
Wait, so you just answered my next question for the next game. So you think Denver wins that series?
I hope.
I don't think so.
I think they might have a chance to beat them.
I think the Blazers might pull it out.
I think the Blazers win that series.
Oh, good. So the Lakers will beat them in 5 too.
No.
Again, I just hear sadness in your voice.
Right because, dude,
you're not excited for a Lakers 6-5?
That should have put these dudes out. They would have been the 18. They would have had to play Utah. They get robbed by a dude that saw 3 rims.
Yo, people are not liking my joke and criticism on LeBron, bro.
Dude,
some people love it, some people don't, dude.
Chris Paul gets hurt after the team that I was like, they might be the best team in the West. Their point guard's shoulder hurts now. He's going back to the finals. Get the cigars ready. Here we go.
Cigars ready. He's gonna have to run into Joel Embiid. What do you mean?
Okay, I think that's where we're gonna wrap up this production here today and take this rodeo somewhere else. So that's gonna wrap up this episode of the Daily Dose. You can give me a follow on Twitter at DylanJD98, George at _George Ryder, and my man Git at Matt_McGinty. Tap into DSM Media on YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok. That's where you can find all of our stuff. TikTok's been a learning experience, and it's been hilarious so far. So I'm going to try to find some more clips of today's show and throw them on our TikTok later. And give my man Scotty a follow, who's a part of DSM as well, at Scotty Drowned. And we will have a fun update for you guys coming later tonight or tomorrow regarding Monday Game 4 against the Wizards, that Sixers-Wizards Game 4 matchup on Memorial Day. So stay locked into my Twitter for that, at DylanJD98. Go Sixers and have a nice night.